Welcome back. We're going to be working on the cylinder head again today, where we're going to be installing the valve guides, machining the seats, grinding the valves, surfacing the heads, testing the valve seat to valve face sealing area, and hopefully doing final assembly. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is after I've blasted the heads, they've gone into the oven, which I'm going to use to preheat the cylinder head so that I can install the valve guides. I like to heat up the head to about 250 to 275 degrees to let the heads grow a little bit so that the interference fit between the valve guides and the aluminum casting isn't so tight to prevent galling as the guides go in. So the first thing that we'll be doing is doing that. So let me take the camera off the tripod and I'll walk you into the oven and give you a look at the oven setup. All right, so here it is. It's literally an oven. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace and it's worked really well so far. It's big enough that I can actually put the Ford Coyote engines and all the modular engines will go into this oven. So I can heat it up to slide the sleeves out, the original sleeves. So, right now I've got one cylinder head in there. The other head was being blasted. So you can see there's the head, and let's check to see what the temperature is on it. Now, something that a lot of people don't realize, that temperature guns really work best against dark matte surfaces. So it looks like we're up to about 160 degrees. So we're going to let this thing cook for a little bit longer. Let me run the timer up a little more. And go up to 10. There we go, 10 more minutes. And then it'll be done. So when that goes off, I'm going to pull the cylinder head out and take it into the table so we can install the valve guides. All right, here are the tools that I'm going to use to install the valve guides. Obviously the valve guides themselves, and this is a tool that goes in the air hammer just like this, just like the one that removed them. This one's actually got a depth stop set in it. So I put the valve guide in here and it holds it to that depth. So when I'm installing it into the cylinder head, when this sleeve hits the casting of the cylinder head, it's set to the proper depth and has the proper amount of height on the valve guide top side of the head. And it works pretty quick. Now you can do it manually with a pair of calipers and hammer it in and then use the height measurement right there to get it set. But this way works a lot faster, and it sets them all pretty close, usually within about 5/1000ths of each other. And that's the way that we're going to do it. So when the head gets up to temperature, I'll bring you back. All right, the cylinder head cake is done and it's ready to serve. All right, let me move these things out of the way. Oops, smash the guides. Now these valve guides are called spiral iron guides. And what that means is that there's actually a threading on the inside, and I'll do a close-up shot of there's kind of like a knurling on the inside of the guide. One side doesn't have the knurling that goes all the way to the tip of it, so it's that's got to go down into the port. So let me go ahead and line them all up so I don't put them in backwards. Now to help the guides go in a little bit easier, obviously I've heated up the head, and the next thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of oil on the guides, just down on the ends that go in first, and then I'm going to put a little bit of oil down in the guide bores in the cylinder head, and I just need a thin film because the cylinder head is warm. I don't need a lot of lubrication to get this to go in smoothly. So let me turn this cylinder head around. No, let's try this right here. All right, so we've got the air hammer, and then we grab our guide. I just have to line it up on the spot where it goes. And that's it. That's installing a guide. Just have to do this 15 more times across 2 heads, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so let me roll this up towards you. Let me get a little bit different shot. Then our second one. A touch more lube in that hole. Make it a little shy. There we go. All right, let me just grab the guide and the driver. Install it in that hole. Then all right, so they're all in. Now, what I'll have to do is on the top of the guides, because when it's being hammered in, the guide actually closes off a little bit, and that's just a function of the air hammer. I just have to take a tapered ream to open the hole up just slightly. Here's the tapered ream. It's kind of like just a straight drill bit, no spiral fluting or anything. And it just goes from a really small diameter up to about 1/2 inch. See if I can get that into focus. There we go. So that's a tapered ream. And I'm just going to put it down in the valve guide. Just touch it real quick. Pull this way. Okay. I'm going to verify that the valves go through the guide. We'll grab an intake valve. All right, so I'm going to use this valve here. It's one of the valves that are going to be used. I'm just making sure that the valve is going through the guide nice and easy. Granted, I could gauge the diameter. A couple of them might feel just a little snug, so I might run the hone down inside the guides just to open them up a little bit. Like that one right there catches a little bit. Now, it could be because of debris from the reaming. So let me run a brush through it, see if it gets any better. A little bit. Oh yeah, it's a lot better actually. So we're good there. Just debris down inside there. Now the next thing that we're going to be doing is taking all the valves and machining the faces on them and tipping them just to establish a flat tip and to set the valve tip height once they're in the cylinder head. So when we come back, we'll be on the valve grinder.